to get going. Gotta catch those runners taking off like a Boeing. If the volume spikes, then it's time to trade. Mighty 90 setting up, it's time to get paid. Navigation trading on the mic, time to get focused. We don't need any indicator, hocus pocus. It's all about the price, just watch it move. Manage your risks so you don't lose. First hour of trading is all we need. Focus on the patience and forget about greed.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to today's day trading live stream, Monday, May 18th. S&P futures were down all night, but they are green. S&P's up 6, NASDAQ up 122, Russell's up 9, Dow is down 18. Gold is up 1/3%, silver's up almost 1. Notes and bonds a little bit green, 10-year yield down 1/3%. Oil down 1.5%, natural gas up almost 2. Soybeans, wheat, and corn on the move. Soybeans up 2%, wheat up 3.5%, corn up 3%. Euro and the pound are both up 1/4 to 0.5%, and Bitcoin is down 2.5%. VIX a little bit up from Friday's close, currently at 18.49. Few minutes until the open. Looks like the SPX range for the day is going to be about plus or minus 37.5 as of now. Biggest movers on the individual stocks. Pre-market, Ford's up another 5.5% now that it's a energy AI company. Baidu had earnings this morning. It's up 5%. Other earnings for the week. Actually, I need to post these in the today's plan channel. Baidu this morning, Home Depot before the open tomorrow, Nvidia after the close Wednesday, Walmart before the open Thursday, and then after the close Thursday, Webull and Zoom are the notable ones. Biggest red stocks on my board: HIMS down almost 5%, MSTR down 4.5%, crypto's getting hit with Bitcoin down. Coins also down a couple percent. Circle down 1.5%. Hood down 1.5%. Microsoft is a little red. Meta's a little red. Tesla's a little red. Some of the quantum names are higher. Some of the chip names are up. We'll be doing a 1 DTE iron Condor near the open, as well as a 3-4 double calendar. Opening bell in 10 seconds. $37.42 is what I see the opening SPX expected move. Joseph T, I made a note of that.
Recording in progress.
All right, first order of business is I am going to get in a 3-4. Just need to check to make sure I don't have any strike conflict. All right. My 1 DTE is firing via bot as it should. Get my system turned off so you guys don't hear my toss chimes. All right, just posted my 1 DTE. And 3-4 is kind of running away from me. Thought I put in a pretty aggressive entry price, but it's still moving away. Well, if you got in early, you're probably already up on that trade a little bit. All right, don't love my fill price, but I'm in. All right, a little dip in the Russell and the S&P to start the day. Nvidia is moving lower. Google is pushing higher. Netflix pushing higher. AMD moving higher. Crypto's moving lower. So Netflix and Google, relative strength so far. Amazon's green as well, pushing above previous day high. Nvidia still dragging. Amazon and Google popping. I'm going to load up some Amazon calls. I would use the 2-day options, and I would use the 267.5 calls in Amazon. I'm also going to load up some Google calls. GOOGL, not to be confused with GOOG. 2-day options, 405 calls is what I would trade. Both of those have relative strength, so just getting them ready. Bitcoin is rolling over hard. MSTR falling. Meta showing a little weakness. It even kind of came up and retested those pre-market lows and starting to roll back over. Nvidia heading down to pre-market lows. Tesla weak. Russell and S&P went red. NASDAQ still barely green. Big volume bar on Google on that push. IWM coming down hard. Big banks are all green. Hood just had a nice bounce. It bounced into the green. I'm going to load up some hood calls. It would be the 4-day options, and I would do the 80 calls in hood. If hood comes back down to test this pre-market high level, which is also right at previous day close, I'd be watching hood. Amazon and Google still at highs. No real pullback. If Meta comes back up a little bit more, I'd be interested in puts at that pre-market low level. 2-day options in Meta, I would do the 605 puts. See if Meta wants to reject here again. Nvidia going red, Tesla super weak, Google pulling back a little bit. I'm watching Meta. I'm going to take Meta puts here. It's reacting off that level again where it kind of reacted before. Market showing a little weakness. Some of these other big tech starting to sell off. Let's see if Meta's going to follow. See if we can get a new low of day and beyond potentially. I got filled at 660 on those Meta puts. I've got my order in at 760. I'll probably lower that. Amazon's still pushing up. Google, it'll pull back. Meta's kind of pushing now. Need Meta to reject back down here. Tesla breaking through overnight lows. Oh, wait. No, not yet. Pre-market lows. All the indices in the red now. Big banks are still moving up. Chip stocks moving down. So Google's pulling back to previous day high. Hood starting to pull back to that pre-market high level. All the other cryptos are pretty weak, including Bitcoin. Meta's just kind of chopping here. I need to see a rejection. Also don't want to see Meta break above this kind of trend line that it put in pre-market. Could enter Google here at previous day high. In Goog, I have the 405 calls loaded. Google ticked an all-time high before it kind of rejected back down. Amazon did not, or Meta did not give me that rollover I was looking for. I've got my order ready to cut Meta if it doesn't reverse. Goog's starting to bounce. All right, I'm cutting Meta. Cut Meta. Out at 570 in Meta. I will consider re-entering if it rejects off this previous day low again, which it is. Anybody take Google off previous day high? That one's working. Hondo, nice. Still watching Meta for puts here. Kind of popped me out, immediately rejected that previous day low again. I want to see some sellers come in before I jump back in, but still watching. Microsoft getting aggressive to the upside, just went green. Amazon's still pushing. SPY trying to go green again. Russell trying to go green. Bitcoin, decent bounce. Hood popped. Netflix a new high. Nvidia still at lows. Tesla tried to bounce a little bit. Goog, nice bounce. Should have taken Goog. Was kind of distracted with Meta at the time, unfortunately. MSTR trying to bounce with Bitcoin. Nvidia finally trying to bounce. My 3-4 already shown some decent profit, and I got a terrible fill. Elliot, you should be up pretty decent now, based on what you showed. %, yeah, nice. You're close to transforming. Or are you just a double calendar trader now? You gonna transform that, or you just love calendars? That's the magic question, my friend. If I get profits coming in, I like to just transform half and then try to squeeze more out. Where I'll either book some profits or transform for a higher credit. Big bounce in Russell. That's why you need your own tracking program, Elliot, so you don't have to be dependent on Trade Steward. Google ripped through highs. That's a nice one. Amazon's still ripping. Tessie trying to bounce. Hood still pushing. So Hood had that little, I had calls in Hood loaded up for that retest of pre-market high. Again, I didn't take it. Didn't quite get down there either, but nice dip and rip in Hood. All the cryptos. Coinbase, big bounce. Yeah, Amazon, you basically would have had to get in right at the previous day high on the way up. Didn't really give much of a entry. Getting a little pop in the ratio on the 1114 DTE. It's a little above the open anyway. I'll watch that for a potential entry. See how much this bounce is going to continue first, though. Yeah, Goog was a beauty. Tesla coming up to that pre-market low area. Netflix ripping again. Tesla and Nvidia both reacting lower, a little bit off around their pre-market lows. Other chip stocks are still weak as well. Apple still at lows. A little pullback in IWM. Oh, shoot. I totally forgot to open my TAT for my Bix. Missed my first big tranche, which looks like that might not be such a bad thing. IWM trying to stay green. NASDAQ back in the red. Meta big push. Amazon finally starting to pull back a little bit. Google a little pause. All right, seen a little weakness come in. NASDAQ almost to lows. S&P back to unchanged. Nvidia almost back to lows. Chip stocks, yeah, AMD through lows, AVGO, MU, SNDK, SMH, Intel all through lows. Hard to get aggressive to the upside when the chips are still heavy. Which was kind of part of my bias for Meta, but that didn't work out. Microsoft is holding up pretty well right at previous day close after that big bounce. It's not participating in this dip as much as most. I'm going to load up some 425 calls in Microsoft. 2 DTE. Just in case. I'm going to take Microsoft. 425 calls filled at 390 average. I'm going to be quick to cut if it breaks back below this previous candle. So I need to see it hold and extend here. Apple's going through lows. Be back in 1 minute.
Order filled.
Microsoft started to bounce.
Order partially filled. Order filled.
Oh, Microsoft dipping again. Microsoft needs to hold here. Hold and rip, Microsoft. Otherwise, I'm going to be quick to cut. Tesla still trying to bounce. NVIDIA trying to stay green. S&P back in the green. Russell back in the green. Q's trying. Google, new high. Amazon's dip getting bought up. Microsoft, join the party. Everybody's bouncing. What are you doing? What are you doing? Netflix new high. Hood still near highs. Big bank still strong. All right, Microsoft starting to perk up a little bit. Held. I've got my first profit target in Goog at 440. Did I say Goog? Got my first profit target in Microsoft at 440. Microsoft new high. AMD, MU, SNDK, all week. Microsoft ticked a new high. We need to extension through highs. All right, here we go, Microsoft. Options up to 430. Keep her coming. Keep her coming. Nvidia rolling back over. Netflix still ripping. Netflix up 2%. S&P just kind of chopping. Getting close to 440. PLTR also started at previous day low, but it's been pushing all morning. Meta just kind of chopping above previous day low. Microsoft, little rejection after pushing through highs. Google still making new highs. Amazon pushing back up towards highs. Jonathan W., you still got a piece? Amazon's doing good as well. Tesla is making a move after being weak early. Microsoft trying to get back up. Still at 440 on my first profit target. Russell and Q's back in the red. Microsoft getting close. There we go. Filled at 440 in Microsoft.
Order partially filled. Order filled. Order cancelled.
Netflix had some big volume on that push and then just barely paused and continued. I'll put a profit target in Microsoft at $5. Microsoft pulling back now. NVIDIA still chopping between previous day close and previous day low. A lot of chips still weak. Google, new high of day. Amazon hasn't quite gotten back up to highs. Bitcoin, another flush through pre-market lows. All right, starting to see some weakness come in here again. So S&P had a pretty decent rejection of that pre-market high level. If we break down below previous day low and SPY, I'll be looking at puts, either in SPY or QQQ or something with relative weakness. Maybe a chip stock. Need Microsoft to hold and to push one more leg up. My 1 DTE iron Condor is up about 6%. Microsoft's dip not getting bought up yet. Just still kind of trailing back down to my kind of by my entry. Circle is flushing through lows. Hood pulled back. It's at previous day high. Big bank still staying pretty strong. NVIDIA new lows. Tesla rolling over. Chip stocks new lows. MU, AMD, SMCI, SMH, Intel, all new lows. Microsoft is going to need to bounce here or I'll cut my remaining. Netflix still on a tear. Microsoft held, trying to bounce a little bit. Just moving slow. S&P super choppy right now. Really all morning. I mean, it had that one big push for 10 minutes. That's about it. Still within the, never broke out of the pre-market highs. Still above the previous day low, so it really hasn't done anything. Tesla getting heavy, Nvidia coming down hard. Google, a little pullback. Netflix extending through previous day high to the upside. Meta still holding above that previous day low. All right, I'm going to wrap the stream. Just moving slow. I will finish out my Microsoft trade in the trade channel. I've currently got a profit target sitting at $5, but it's going to need to rip through highs to get there. So we'll see if it does. I'm not going to sit through chop very long. I may just cut it if it doesn't do anything here soon. If it breaks down below that, essentially pre-market highs, which is about that 421.40 level, I will cut. And if I see anything, if things start moving, I will post that in the trade channel also. Otherwise, I'll see everybody in Power Hour. Cheers.